Hello everyone, it's Ruben here with an updated build video for the Stamina Warden PvP build Nature's Gatekeeper. So this is a high DPS and high sustain Stamina Warden PvP build for both the CP campaigns, non-CP campaigns and non-CP Battlegrounds. It has a very nice sustain, very nice DPS, and it utilizes every factor, both Magicka and Stamina. It also has some good physical and spell resistance, and it's quite easy to get the hang of it. So yeah, without too much further ado, let's get started with the gear setup, the champion point system setup, the rotation of this build, and the stats of this build and what we can reach. Hope you guys will enjoy. Here are the times at what you can see everything that we will cover in this build video. So here you go, here are the times. And we'll start by going over the gear setup. The current setup on this build is 5 Hunting's Rage, 5 Bone Pirate, 1 Pirate Skeleton, and 1 Molekina Pauldron. The Pirate Skeleton we have to increase our physical and spell resistance. The Molekina is to increase our weapon damage. You can also use an increased stamina recovery piece. That's totally up to you. If you want a little bit more of stamina recovery, then you can do that. So we use 3 Hunting's Rage, heavy chest, medium waist and medium feet, plus Hunting's Rage weapons. So the axe is the defending trait with an increased weapon damage enchantment, and the shield is a maximum stamina enchantment with the impenetrable trait. And our offensive bar is a mace. I like to go for the mace because it let us ignore 20% of the enemy's physical resistance. Now we could go for a sword or anything, but we already have more than enough damage. So that's why I wanted to go with mace, because I very much like it when using Subterranean Assault and then swap back to the mace and do increased physical resistance. So the mace, we have the Oblivion damage enchantment, and we have the Nirnhorn trait to get our weapon damage up even further. Now we have Bone Pirates. We are using 2 Bone Pirate gear pieces, multi-effect enchantments. All the gear pieces are impenetrable, and if you can afford it, go multi-effect enchantment on all of them. If you are a bit low on gold, then use the multi-effect enchantment on the helmet, the chest and the legs, and go maximum stamina on the other pieces. And if you lack a little bit in health, you can always get your health up a little bit further by spending some of your attribute points into health. And then on the jewelry, I am running 3 weapon damage. If you're new to the game slash Stamina Warden, I would recommend you to run 2 stamina recovery. If you would say you're kind of experienced with it, you could go with 2 weapon damage and 1 stamina recovery for non-CP. And if you feel very comfortable, you can run 3 weapon damage enchantments like I am. Attribute points, we have 20 in health and 44 in stamina. We are a werewolf. I'm currently not making use of the werewolf, but there is no negative side to being a werewolf, so that's always good. And as the boon, we are using the serpent to further increase the stamina recovery by 240. So now that we have covered the build, we are going over the skills. Number 1, we have Ice Fortress. This can be found under the Winter's Embrace first ability. Ice Fortress is one of those skills that is too good not to have up. It increases our physical and spell resistance by 5.3k for 24 seconds, and also gives us minor protection, reducing our damage taken by 8% for 24 seconds. So at any time, you want to make sure Ice Fortress is up, all the time. The moment it goes down, you recast it instantly. Number 2, we have Green Lotus. So Green Lotus is really nice because it will increase our weapon critical rating by 2.2k for 20 seconds. And it also gives us 1500 health for every light attacks. And our fully charged heavy attacks will restore 4.5k health to us or a nearby ally. Number 3 is Subterranean Assault. Apart from that, Subterranean Assault is a nice AoE if you land it properly and does a lot of damage. It also inflicts the enemies with Major Fracture, reducing their physical resistance by 5.3k. So Subterranean Assault is something you kind of want to keep up on the enemy when you are on the offensive the whole time as well, because the Major Fracture will really help you deal more DPS. So Subterranean Assault can be found under the Animal Companion's second ability. Number 4 we have Shimmering Shield. Now Shimmering Shield is really nice because it will absorb up to 24k damage from 3 projectiles, but it also restores Magicka each time it absorbs a projectile, so it can give you back some Magicka. And it also gives us Major Heroism for 6 seconds, granting us 3 ultimate points every 1.5 seconds. So this is a great way to get some quick ultimate generations. Shimmering Shield plus light attacks can get you ultimate points really fast. And number 5 we have Bull Edge. Bull Edge will restore our stamina, and it also gives us Major Sorcery and Major Brutality, increasing your spell damage and weapon damage. So Bull Edge, it doesn't cost anything. So this is what we have on the back bar. Bull Edge, you want to make sure it's up all the time. So Ice Fortress and Bull Edge, those two you want to keep up at all times. Preferably you want to keep the Green Lotus up as well, but those two are priority. Ice Fortress and Bull Edge. As the ultimate, I have Healing Thicket. The Healing Thicket is, even after the changes they made to it with the increased ultimate cost and the change to healing, it's still a decent healing ultimate, and it's only 90 ultimate cost. So the Healing Thicket can be found under the Green Balance ultimate ability. I really like to have this one on the back bar if I get pressured a lot. I like to do line of sighting around a pillar or anything, and then I like to place this in the center of it. For example, if I'm getting pressured a lot and I walk around somewhere like this tree, I like to place it here, and then I can just keep line of sighting around it, and in the meantime the ultimate will heal me. So the two-handed bar. Number 1 we have Cutting Dive. This is pretty much our ranged attack. It's basically an instant cast, it's a ranged attack, nothing much to be said about this one. Number 2 we have Critical Rush. Now our Critical Rush will deal a lot of damage because we have a very high weapon damage. If you want to have a snare, you can swap Critical Rush for Stampede, and then you will have a snare. So both are viable, Critical Rush and Stampede. Number 3 we have Dizzying Swing. Slam an enemy with an upward swing, dealing 12.5k physical damage, standing them for 3.5 seconds and knocking them back 4 meters. So this is also a knockback. I know some people have a hard time with landing Dizzying Swing. So anytime you're gonna engage with someone, you shouldn't be close to them. Like, you shouldn't be standing in him, because a good PvP player will walk through you and does animation cancel your Dizzying Swing. When you use Dizzying Swing, you want to keep a decent distance like this, and you want to keep moving around. The moment he comes closer to you, you're gonna walk back. So you gotta make sure you land your Dizzying Swing properly. You don't want to stand this close to him, because all he has to do now is move a step forward, and you will stop your Dizzying Swing animation. And number 4 we have Executioner. This is our execution. Deals up to 350% more damage to enemies with less than 50% health. Whenever someone is low health, you're gonna start smashing him with the Executioner. 4th ability from the two-handed skill tree. Number 5 we have Resolving Figure. The reason we have Resolving Figure on our offensive bar is so we can stay more offensive. We don't have to constantly swap to the back bar. And it also has a stronger heal on our two-handed bar because we run Nernhound on the two-handed bar. For example, on this one we have 12.5k, and on the back bar we have 11.7k. Ultimate, we have Dawnbreaker of Smiting. Dawnbreaker of Smiting is very nice. It's not a super expensive ultimate, it's a decent, just a moderate cost. We can animate cancel it, and it also, thanks to a Fighter's Guild passive, it will also increase our weapon damage by another 3% because we still have Fighter's Guild ability. I really like Dawnbreaker because you can nicely animation cancel it, and it gives a nice knockback. So a common attack rotation I will overall do is I will be buffed up, and I will get my Subterranean Assault. I might try to land a Cutting Dive, and then I do a Crit Rush in, and then you hit all those abilities at the same time. So basically you have 3 abilities that will hit at the same time. The Cutting Dive, the Subterranean Assault, and the Critical Rush. That's a decent amount of damage to any player. And if you have the ultimate up, If you have, for example, Dawnbreaker up, you could also animation cancel your Dawnbreaker. Overall, you should be able to execute that player then, if he is not blocking. If he isn't blocking or anything, you should overall be able to execute most players. I would say like 60 to 70% of the ESO players. Of course, if you're running a tanky setup or are fully buffed up on a shielded sorcerer or anything like that, then that doesn't apply. But still, you will have a nice opening for the duel or fight that you have. So again, buffed up, Subterranean Assault, Cutting Dive and Crit Rush in. Maybe try to land a Wrecking Blow. But overall, I prefer to do a Dawnbreaker if I have it ready, because they quickly gonna heal and shoot up after you have landed those abilities. A Dawnbreaker will knock them off their feet. So for the Stamina Warden, there are at the moment 3 races I would recommend. Though we are getting race changes, so I'm not too sure how much this will stay up, you know, with the viable races. Number 1 at the moment, and that's a race I am, is Redguard. Why Redguard? First of all, you get acceleration for increased stamina and conditioning for increased max stamina. But the adrenaline rush is so good. Like 800 stamina with every melee attack. So stamina recovery is based on every 2 seconds. So you have to divide 800 by 5, which equals 160 every second. And then times 2. So that's 160 times 2. This equals almost 320 stamina recovery if you land this every time. So that's some very nice increased stamina generation you can get. So that's why I like the Redguard the most. Another great race would be Argonian or an Orc. I think those races are really great as well. And they probably are a shared top 2. And if you want, you can of course also go with a Wood Elf, aka Busmer, and the Nord or Khajiit. Those races will work as well. High Elf will not work, Breton will not work. Imperial is also kind of meh in my opinion, and a Dark Elf is also not recommendable. So here's a quick overview as always of the statistic in non-CP unbuffed and buffed, and of course for the CP campaign unbuffed and buffed as well. Just pause if you want to view the images a little bit longer. So now we have that done, we're gonna start with the champion point system. We're gonna start with the tower. With 29 in Siphoner. When you do damage with a light or heavy attack, you reduce the enemy's restoration by 7.5%. Warlord 25, reduce the cost of break free. 10 in Sprinter. We have 75 in Moonkelf to increase our stamina by recovery by 40%. 11 in Arcanist. 50 in Tenacity, increase the magic and stamina you fully charged, heavy attacks restore. 45 in Tumbling. 25 in Shadow Ward. The Apprentice, 50 in Blessed, increase our healing done. Physical Weapon Expert 18. Master at Arms 36. And 40 in Shattering Blows. We have 75 in Mighty, increase our physical poison and disease damage done. 30 in Piercing, and 21 in Precise Strikes. Then we have 25 in Ironclad, 20 in Medium Armor Focus, 45 in Spell Shield, 45 Resistance, 45 in Hardy, and 41 Elemental Defender, 10 Thick Skinned. These 4 you want to kind of get up equally, so make sure the gap between Hardy, Elemental, Spell Shield and Resistance doesn't get too big. 16 Expert Defender and 23 in Quick Recovery. And that's it. That's the champion point distribution. And that's pretty much all you need to know from the build and the setup and the layout. If you ever want to see the build live on action, make sure to come on twitch.tv/Rubensky. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. Many more build videos, gold guides, leveling guides and stuff like that are coming. Also work on a big ESO review, and I'm working on an ESO build website. So if you like the content, make sure to hit the like button, leave a comment what you think of the build, and any feedback as always, you know, what you would run or anything like that. And feel free to join our Discord server, link is in the description, would be awesome to have you there as well. Wish you guys a great day and the best. Bye bye, I'm out.